Good morning. Welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. Well, for those of you, welcome to the Soulful Success Book Club. This book club is a little bit different. It takes on inspirational and motivational book club. This book club is So I'm glad you're here. Today's book is By Passion with Purpose, the little book about you. 15 principles and practices for an improved you. By Passion with Purpose. Get it on Amazon. In case you don't have it for today's book club, you'll have it for 2 weeks from now. So get ready. I am waiting on you to jump on in, and we're going to discuss this book today. And the first thing I want to talk about is why I wrote this book. So, my name is Tiffany Brown, and I am your growth motivator. And I am here to share, and I hope inspire, and you inspire me with some of those growth motivational books that you have read and that we can share with each other. So I am starting with this book because I wrote this book because when I went through my journey, I always knew that I should apply certain principles. Good morning, Jasmine. Appreciate you. When I started my journey and I realized that I could create the life I wanted to have, I read a lot of books. I participated in a lot of podcasts and conferences. What I wasn't getting was how to apply those things that they were teaching. So I wanted to be a little bit different with my inspirational, motivational books that I authored. And it was more or less to give people some tips and tools that they can try in order to implement those characteristic things. But along my journey, I also realized that let's stop fixing the things we're not good at. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. And let's start um, strengthening the things we are good at, which I believe from this point of my journey that if I strengthen the things I already have, it will also help me to build the things that I'm not so great at because everything is a full circle. And I want to talk about that a little bit. So I'm going to give everybody a couple of more minutes. Hope you got your tea, coffee, whatever works for you this morning, mimosas, your choice, so that we can have some great, meaningful conversation. And again, thank you for being here. The other thing I will be doing is a raffle. If you leave me your email address, I am going to do a raffle for my latest book, which is called Swipe Right, My Spontaneous Journey Through Love and Life Lessons. And I want to do a raffle because eventually I want to get to that book in this club because even though it's about dating, it's still inspirational and motivational as well. So I want to be able to share why I wrote that book as well. But today we're doing the little book about you, 15 principles and practices for your life improvements. All right. So I know it's early. I am also going to be looking for time suggestions because I'm thinking Thursday nights with a cocktail might be nice as well to have great discussions about things that inspired us and things that we can share. So I hope everybody has their list of books um, that they're going to share that somehow inspired or motivated them. Maybe they just starting out on a journey, and this will also help us help them when we share books and what books they have started reading to start their journey. So I'm looking for this to be more of a inspirational. So it should always be good vibes. It should always be a safe space to share. And I want to mention our next book so people can order ahead for March because this one will take us through February with the 2 weeks. The next book club being the 18th. If we don't decide to change it to Thursday nights, and I'm okay with that, I'd rather have a collective. And the next book we're going to read is going to be by Tom Raith, just so you can order Strength Finders. This book has motivated and inspired me to a whole new level. Even though 1.0 is good if you want to take that one on, I like the enhanced version. He incorporated a couple more things that made a little bit more sense to me. So I appreciate it. And as an author myself, I do see now that I'm on book 3 and writing book 4 that there's some things I can go back and enhance in my very first book, which was this one. But the concept of the book really don't require any enhancements. It's a self journey. And this book, not all the time when we starting out, do we want to hear what everybody else done? But we also want to know what are some things we can do. And that's why this particular book allows you to decide where to start, how to implement, how they play a role and can make you an asset over a liability in your life, your work life, your relationships, because that's what it's about. As we journey, I hope that journey is to have better relationships, build different bonds, and incite and inspire others to at least look at the journey they want to be on and not be on a journey that they're not particularly fond of. Because what people like I did, I realized I get to create the life I want to have. I do. I get to create it. So, with that being said, it would be nice. A couple of more people come on in here and visit and learn more about an inspirational book club instead of a fictional where we have our own perceptions of the good guy, the bad guy, and trying to catch the murderer. Which don't get me wrong, I like crime mysteries. So I am all for those. I have had those type of book clubs before. I've always been a bibliotech, so nothing new when it comes to books. I'm just in a different season of my life where I think we should be reading more meaningful things or sharing conversations that help to inspire others or inspire others to start their journey to create the life they want to have. So come on in, come on in, come on in. Come on in. Get your tea, coffee, mimosa. All right. Because this is recorded and I know it's early for some, I was thinking about my East Coast people, but a little early even for me. So we will look into changing that. All right. So I'm going to jump right in. So this month's book is called The Little Book About You. Let me get the actual version because that's the one I write in because I had to do some corrections with it. And I need you to see the original book. If you order it from my website, it'll be a author signed copy, of course, to you. If you order it off Amazon, if you see me, I'll autograph it for you. Um, so this book, as I mentioned before, it's called The Little Book About You: 15 Principles and Practices to Improve Your Life. And when you open the cover, I kind of explain why I wrote this book, which I mentioned before. I mentioned that when I started my journey, they gave me practices, but they gave me principles, but they didn't tell me how to activate them or how to incorporate them in the different parts of my life or make them um, a part of me, which makes me a better person because now I have morals and values. And sometimes we are stuck in what our parents' morals and values were, but times were different. So it's okay. And I don't think people understand that the time is different. The basic principles, be kind, treat everybody like you would want to be treated, those are basic across the board and they should never go out with the times. But then we forget to add the life we want to have. We forget to add different characteristics in order to have that life. We cannot be mean, unhelpful, and expect to have a nice and helpful life. So I took it upon myself to share my journey through my motivational and inspirational books that I've been creating. So it says here, this book is to guide you to help you live your life fully. These 15 principles and practices are scientific research based. They're not just for me. And not only scientifically, but I actually put them into practice to see if they made a difference. And I can tell you they did. And that's why these were my first 15 principles. I intended for it to enhance your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well being. I also wanted you to be able to achieve your personal and professional goals. Cultivate positive habits and attitudes because we only get what we give. And if we're only given negativity, I don't know how you want to really expect to get positivity from negativity. Hmm. Okay, so overcome challenges and obstacles. They only as hard as we make them be. We can only grow if we have challenges. If everything was smooth sailing, how do we build that strength? How do we build the resilience? How are we going to build creativity if I never have to do anything? And the last thing was enjoy more happiness, fulfillment, and meaning in your life. So, those were my objectives when I wrote this book because these are the things that I found that these 15 principles can do. They can make a change in your life. They start out small, but the more you add of positive things and you start to understand your values and morals, then you get to become the person you want to be. And then you get to become an inspiration for others. And I think that's what life is about. If I become better, people see and inspire themselves to become better because they realize it can be done. And no, it can't happen overnight. I wish. But I have rough days, trust me, trying to become and create the life I want to have. Now, I didn't realize for like a couple of years that I got exactly what I wanted. And it came from a conversation with my son. And I happened to be flicking through a notebook of mine. And I see this list I made probably a year or so ago. And that was during the time I had decided enough is enough. I'm through dating with no substance, no long term outcome, and momentary satisfaction in a relationship when you know it's not going anywhere is not a good feeling inside or not a good relationship. And it takes away from fulfilling the life you want to have. Because what happens is you sit there wasting time in misery, pretending it's going to change when you haven't changed. Let's start with you first. And they're not even trying to change. You only see that you want something different, but you don't know how to get that something different because you don't want to take steps to get something different. So, when I started with the practices, it wasn't about the order in the book. That's why I say you start where you want. So, what I did for today's book club and this particular book is I went through and I highlighted some things on most of the topics. And if you had a book and when you get the book, this first one says, start fresh. And it's principle number one. And it says, live every day with a fresh new start. Don't let the past hold you back or limit your potential. Every day is a new opportunity to learn, grow, and create. And treat each day as a blank canvas and paint your own masterpiece. So, yesterday is gone, and whatever happened can't be changed. And it could have been a good day or it could have been a bad day. But when you think about starting fresh with what you have and where you are at this moment, it takes on a different journey because now you're clearing your mind of what was old, what could possibly be new, because you can't get new unless you start to create new. And you say, okay, I know I can start fresh today, but how do I do that? Well, the practice I put in, and I'm going to read what's in the book, and then I'm going to share some things. And if you have a book, please raise your hand, and I would love to hear from you in the comments on if you started with Start Fresh or if that is where you are right now within this book. So the practice for Start Fresh says, start your day with a morning routine that sets you up for success. And I'm going to go back to that. Then it says this could include meditation, exercise, gratitude, affirmations, reading, or anything else that energizes you and aligns you with your purpose. Now, when I started this, I created a morning routine and it was journaling. I got up every morning because I wanted to create the day that I wanted to have. And that day started originally with what is my goal for today? So I have a planner where you write your 3 goals. Because I'm creating my day by writing these 3 goals, that means everything I do today is going to be dependent on completing Three goals. And maybe I don't get to all three because one require more work. That's why it's only three there. We try to complete sometimes too many goals at once. Our morning routine is too much and it gets frustrating sometimes. So we might need to scale back and it makes for a better day. What I have been doing lately, now that I know starting fresh, is I've added not only to what are my three goals for today, what are some of the tasks I need to complete, and what am I grateful for right here this morning. Before I get into the day and all the accomplishments, I want to wake up grateful. For one, I woke up. For two, I have a brain that I woke up with as well. I also woke up with flexible arms and legs because my routine includes a 4 a.m. workout. So I wake up, I write my three goals. I Because remember, every day I'm starting fresh. I'm starting where I am right now with what I have. Yesterday, I could have learned some lessons in life, and now I can add them, and now I can create today moving forward with a new lesson. So, I have also included not only my gratitude first thing in the morning, but guess what? What am I leaving out of this house today? What's my intention? Because mindfulness, which is also one of those things in this book, one of those principles, has to do with intention. So some days I leave out, and my intention is to be the most compassionate person. Because not only do I require compassion, but my family today might require compassion. People I come across today might require compassion. Some days I have two. Let's be compassionate and empathetic. Or today I'm just going to set out to be as kind as I can be. How about when it talked about a routine? So I'm going to share my routine. I get up in the morning. I have a home gym, so it makes a difference. I don't need to get all cute to go to the gym because my gym is in another room and it makes it easier for me. Your push might be to go to a gym and get on matching outfits and be your best self when you arrive because you should never go nowhere without looking your best outside. I'm in the house and this is a comfortable morning show with our coffee and tea and mimosas. So we get to chillax. So I get up, I get on my workout clothes, and I head toward my morning gym. I spend 15 minutes with meditational exercises. And then I might get on my treadmill or I might get on another piece of a moving equipment, but it's mainly now I have meditated. I have set my tone for today. I have also realized or visioned the intention I need to give today. And now I'm going to do some cardio so I can get my body moving and flowing all of those calm ideas and my intention through my whole body so that it projects and I get to share that intention and I get to be that intention. Once I finish my workout, I then put my teapot on because I quit drinking coffee. I drink it sometimes, don't get me wrong. It's just, I can't add all the stuff being a plant based eater. I can't add all the things I want in the coffee anymore. So, mushroom coffee is good. Mush coffee is on occasion, but I like to leave out with my ginger juice. If I don't have ginger tea, I juice a lot. I don't know. I got caught up when I first, and I think that's what caught me into plant based eating. It was the juice. But moving on. So once I get my teapot or I decide what I'm drinking on my way out, then I get dressed. Now I like to dress according to how I feel that morning and what I want to project. So colors are a big thing for me. They make me happy. I hope the colors with what I'm trying to emit on my intentional days also help to emit the intention I'm trying to have. So once I do that, I pretty much leave out. Most days, I am listening to inspirational videos. I will share some of those inspirations as well, because even though I am a reader, there are some people on YouTube or podcasts that I think inspires me. And so what I do is I listen to them on the way to work, especially if it's on the topic that a topic that I need to improve on, or if it's my intention for today. So Reverend I had heard when I was younger, and I'm from back east, that he was pimp pusher, money, this, that, all negative things. And we fall into that trap when we don't know better. But now that I'm older, I give everybody a chance and I hear their message. And it could be some things I pull out, and there's some things I'm not going to take with me at all. But everybody has their story and everybody can be inspiring. Reverend Ike was one of those that heard about younger, hadn't come across my feeds, but he gives me so much inspiration. Listening to him now in this season of my journey. So definitely appreciate listening to that. Michael Beckwith, another podcast, but I had also read a few of his books even before he built Agave. So my routine is mine, but it helps me start fresh every day by having a new intention, making sure I'm aware of the goals I want to complete, making sure that everything I do is in alignment with those goals, and always double checking myself throughout the day. Am I an asset or a liability? So that's just me. So when we start talk about starting fresh, besides what I wrote in my book, I have a couple more ideas that you can use. Um, I did not put writing with inspiration, whether it's music or a inspirational speaker or motivational speaker. Um, Adding intention to your day. I think adding intention to my day has made even my happiest days even better. So if I have anyone here that has started with the little book about you and you did start fresh, if you can share any insights or anything that you've added outside of the practices that I put with Principle One. Type it in the chat. All right. So I am going to move on because I do understand that exercise, yes, exercise is a great start. It does clear your mind. It does cause you to be aware, but it also you have to think about with starting fresh and doing exercise what you are listening to, because some music had you going too fast in order to put that um, to catch the inspiration. So a lot of times we listen to fast, upbeat songs when we work out to give us the energy. But I'm gonna tell you, if you haven't tried a good motivational speech or podcast, that'll get you moving too, because it gets you riled up thinking like, ah, that is a great way. Or oh, that will work. So mm, good positive things can also, instead of some music that we listen to. Me too. I listen to it too. My point is start the day off fresh. Let's put intention into the day. Let us um, decide how our day is going to be. I leave out some days. If I don't remember to decide that I don't want to be in traffic, sometimes I end up in traffic. So now, when I set my intention, I also want to decide how to not drive in traffic. Today, I will not be in any traffic. I will have a smooth ride to work. I don't speed. So and if I'm caught in traffic, I'm just patient and figure I'm supposed to be where I'm at. I'm not supposed to be up there for whatever reason. I'm where I am, and I tend to go with that. While we here, please suggest if we want a different time for this book club, because I'm thinking Thursday nights, because we don't start going out until Friday night. Some of us go out on Thursday night, maybe karaoke. So the next one I want to talk about this week is number 2, to be true to you. So, my principle, be true to you, be true to who you are. Don't try to please others or conform to their expectations. You are unique and valuable, and you have something special to offer to the world. Embrace your authentic self and express it with confidence. You are who you are. And if you are afraid of being who you truly are, that just means need a little bit of work. Because what I found in my journey, we tend to be with our social group one way, with our work group another way, with our um, different groups multiple ways. What I'm suggesting here is you should be able to be your authentic self in every situation because it's a good person. So when you be true to you, you are that person at work. You are that person at school. You are that person with your friends. And you are that person in your other group setting. That does not mean where we that you at work telling your personal business. That has nothing to do with being true to you. Your personal business has nothing to be about being true to you. Being true to you is being the same kind person, being authentic, knowing your morals and values, knowing that you're more of an asset, that you are an asset and not a liability, knowing that you are walking on that path to your best version of you. Understanding that because I have morals and values, and because I lead my day with intention, and because I am mindful and I'm optimistic, I get to be who I am truly in the inside in any setting. The practice that I added to be true to you is identify your core values, strengths, passions, and goals. Write them down and review them regularly. So I learn 5 new words a day. Same concept. If I just write them down with the definition and I never go back and review them, I never go back and try to use them, then what was the purpose of me writing them down? Just to tell people, hey, I can't say I learned 5 new words. I have to say I wrote down 5 new words today. Because do I know any? Have I went back and reviewed them? Have I went back and studied them to use them? So why would I write them down? Just to tell people I do it? That's not being authentic and true to yourself. Very good. I'm clapping for you because we should always celebrate. Yes, you have to be careful what you listen to. So, the rest of the practice for 2, use them as a compass to guide your decisions and actions and seek feedback. Some people, but you want feedback from people who started a journey and see their true self. Because some people be like, oh, I went through my journey and but you see the behavior is not there. They not starting fresh. They not trying to be true. They still complaining. And a long time ago, which is a hard task. So don't get me wrong, because I'm sure I still practice it every day. Mm. The task of not complaining. And I thought I wasn't complaining because I was venting, which, as you can see, is number 3. I guess that's why I brought it up. But this has been the hardest because when we try to express how we feel about something, it's complaining. Because if you thought about it and you didn't like something, what did you put into practice as a solution to it? But then some people just like to complain, because that's how they get their attention. But what they don't know is that when you don't complain or you say, hey, I noticed today so and so, so this is my solution to that. Not, no, 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 complain. Never a solution. Just always the problem. The repeated problem. My feet keep hurting. My feet keep hurting. My feet keep hurting. Well, what you gonna do about that foot? Are you gonna get it checked out? Are you gonna do something personally, like you know what's causing that foot to hurt? Eating habits. Sometimes you just got a little bit too much on the foot. My knee. I have a family trait knee that I got caught up in calling it a family trait knee. Dis-ease, not disease, dis-ease come from the things we have inside that create dis-ease. Complaining gets me attention. But do you ever think about it gets you no attention either? Nobody wants to hear complaining, 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 complaining. So I'm going to say if we start the day fresh, principle number 1, and then if we start to be true to ourselves, and the biggest dis-ease in our bodies is number 3, complaining. So I'm going to say Be clear about who you are and what you want out of life and move accordingly. You cannot expect kindness when you don't give it. There is a law called law of attraction, which I did a video on my YouTube, that whether you agree with it or not, energy flows as energy is given. So if you want a man who is sweet, kind, and wealthy, are you sweet, kind, and wealthy? And when you think she not sweet, kind, and wealthy, and she got a rich man, what part of her soul did she give away for that and getting something she didn't give? Or he? Let's not exclude men because they do the same. We are all humans, and we all work off human nature. And if you ever took Psychology 101 or just understand or took the time to learn human behavior, you understand that what we don't give, we don't get back. It's that pay it forward thing. It's the same concept. If you give something out of your whole heart, it's going to come back. But if you give something with the expectation of return, it's not going to come back. And that's why if you're true to yourself, you only get people who be true to you. Like I watch people, I have been around and watched people do certain things, unbecoming of a human, to others, but they do it to certain people. And people be like, well, why they choose me? You know why? Your energy and vibes cause them to choose you. Because what we project is what we get back. The last one I'm going to talk about today is number 3, which we kind of went into, which is no complaining. So, principle 3 says quit complaining. Complaining is a waste of time and energy. It doesn't solve any problems, it only makes you feel worse. Instead of focusing on the negative aspects of your situation, look for the positive ones. Appreciate what you have and what you can do. So, we only have so many talents and strengths. We should build on those, accept them for what they are, and bring along the ones we're not so good as we incorporate the strengths of the talents that we have. Because those can grow along the side of those. Um, you can always take a moment and see what your rant sounds like and decide, is it like complaining? Like I mentioned, I thought I was mentioning a situation and I wasn't, because I wasn't upset about it, talking about it. But when you mention it and don't have a solution, and when you mention it over and over, it's complaining. And when you got to tell everybody about how it happened and it was oh so not good and oh my good, it's complaining. So you just find different people who want to hear it. And there's a lot of people who live in the negative spaces that would love to hear it. But when you decide, hey, this happened, but this is what I'm going to do if it ever happens again, or this is what I'm going to do with it right now to move forward, then it becomes a solution. Problem solved. No use in unless you're sharing it to inspire somebody else or give them a little bit of information on how you created a solution, it's complaining. When you didn't like that donut because it had too much custard, that's complaining. Okay, you didn't like it. I did not like that donut, so I won't buy that kind again. The end. What I said as some practices was replace complaining with gratitude. Whenever you think you're about to start complaining about the shoe or the donut or how she smiled to the left and you would have preferred it to be to the right, say something you are grateful for instead of talking about the donut. So here's an example. Instead of saying, "Oh, I did not like that custard donut. It had too much custard in it," you can say, "I am grateful that I had that opportunity to try that donut, but next time I'll try something without custard in it." Especially if somebody gave you the donut being nice. You don't have to complain. "Why they give me this donut? I don't even like donuts with custard." "I'm grateful you gave me the donut, but for future references, I prefer donuts with jelly." Was that complaining? No. We're letting somebody know that we appreciated them even thinking about us. But no complaints happened. None. I didn't go on and say, "Oh, she brought me this custard donut. And he think I like custard. I don't like custard." Now I gotta go around and tell everybody, "You know, she brought me a custard donut. She know I don't eat custard." No, she don't. She was thinking of you. And whether somebody being mean or you think they being facetious, it's because you would do that. She didn't bring you the donut just to be facetious. And I say, if you even believe somebody being facetious by giving you or offering something, I'm going to say this: they had to take time to even think about you to do that. So why complain? She thinking about me. That means it's something about me that she really liked. Because she took time to think about me to even get me something that she may or may not know that I like. So why would I complain? Because that's that negative space we like to be in. We used to it. And it's not an easy habit to break. It took me a long. And I catch myself still sometimes. And I pull out my book and I be like, where do I need to work today? Because today I started out like this, thinking about why they do this, why they do that, complaining, complaining, complaining. So, some of the practices besides replace it with gratitude. Whenever you catch yourself complaining, stop and think of three things you are grateful for in the moment. Write them down, say them out loud, and you will feel the shift in your mood and your perspective. It's not going to be easy. This the thing. People think, "Oh, I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to be a great person." You can't just say it, you got to do it. You got to practice it. We have so many things. And I'm going to say our upbringings because I don't hold my parents accountable for nothing. They were where they at with what they had, and they used what they had with where they was at. Time's so different now that we have so many more tools. We have so many more people who want to share their stories and their inspirations. We have so many more people than what our parents had. And I'm going to say my parents because my mother was born in the 40s. And we can go from there. And my daddy was probably born at the end of 39 because he like was many years older than her. So a few, at least 5 to 8. I think it was 5 to 8 years older. So um different different tools were used. And they worked because we still alive. So apparently whatever tools my mama had, um, they worked. Not worked. They worked at the time. I'm gonna go with that. And then it's up to us to adjust those tools. Just because they did them don't make them the be all end all tools. This is where we get to the lives we want to create and we start to make our own morals and values. I'm not saying it might be a couple you kept from them, but those times was different when they created those. And we're not talking about the basic ones. We talking about those characteristic ones to help us be better people, to help us grow into the person we want to be, and to help us achieve the goals. You can't have certain morals and values and want to reach certain goals. And sometimes what they use in our childhood don't even apply in today's world. But we scared to change them because we come from that. But do they fit in the life you are trying to create? And I think it's okay. Like, it's some views and values I had when my children were smaller. I hope they change. Because I've changed them, I'm sure. And I thought about it one day, like, I hope they're not holding on to that because I've let it go. It was something at that time in our lives, and from what I only had and knew, that I used. But now I know so much more. The internet is wide. I didn't have internet. I didn't have motivational speakers at my fingertip. I didn't have people who can inspire me in the worst parts or times of my life just by clicking a button to a video. I didn't have that. So I needed different rules, morals, values in order to get where I was trying to go. But now I don't have to do that. Now I can create the rules, the values, and the morals that make me an asset, not just to my family, to my uh, career, to my hobbies, to things I like to do. So now I have to align those morals and values to those things, not what used to, where I come from, and my environment where I came from don't make me or define me. So I'm not repping a city I don't even live in, that I've come from. The city gave me some things, but I'm not even in that city anymore. And in that city is not even the same things that I came from. So I just want to say that to say this. I don't have to stay there to be who I used to be because I'm not who I used to be. And if I'm still staying somewhere just to be that, in that environment, that only taught me lessons that I should have taken to move forward, but I'm taking the lessons, the same lessons daily, in the same spot with the same people, not getting new lessons, not getting new inspirations, then this is when I need to start looking at me. And so, with that being said, get your book and get it ready as we continue from Principle 4 when we come back on the 18th of February. Please email me, passionpurpose50@gmail.com, if you would like more information on the Soulful Book Club. If you have recommendations, I want this book club to be inspiring. I want you to come here to inspire or be inspired. I want you to share with me in the comments some books that inspired you, that we can share or that I can share here as well. So I want to say I appreciate my first day of the Soulful Success Book Club. Miss Jasmine, definitely appreciate you being here in your comments today. I appreciate